Alright, everybody, and welcome to the Above Snakes Prologue. Now, this is one that I've seen over on Twitter. It looked really cool, and as I am a huge fan of survival games, I figured we'd take a look. Once you start the game, you're given some pretty cool artwork and a brief description about what the game is about, and basically meteors fall to the earth, causing some not so great issues for the town folk, and ultimately leading up to zombies. Luckily, we're out in the middle of nowhere, so maybe we won't have to deal with them. The next morning after the meteor shower, we awaken to find our quaint little village has seen better days, and we're immediately introduced to Joanne. Joanne is seeking some help rebuilding her home after some not so pleasant fireworks last night, so let's give her a hand. We're first going to need to gather some trees in order to make an axe. After gathering up enough to make our axe, we can begin to chop down some trees. Next, we need to make a pickaxe. Using that, we can chop down some stone and make ourselves a hammer. Once we have the hammer, very simply come over to her home and clear the way for a new structure. To begin building, you're first going to need a workbench. Once you have your workbench placed, simply interact with it and you can see all the different pieces that you have. You have your basic survival game items, your walls, your floors, your ceilings, your windows, cooking pots, and of course some vanity and sleeping materials. We need to gather up a ton of wood, lay down some foundations, and get her home restored. Now keep in mind that once you've built this structure, it then becomes your new base, as the tutorial has you take down the other buildings in the village. So set it up where you would like it and get it looking nice. Be sure to go over to the log piles that are laying around. These will let you get a bunch of lumber that you're going to need in order to start building your base. Essentially for free, especially if you've cut down all of your trees for any reason. Another interesting method to chopping down your environment. Whatever way you're pointing with your cursor is the direction that the tree will fall. So, one tree can actually fall down and knock over a second tree. The trees can also fall and knock over some of the stone structures laying around. For example, if we chop down this tree here, bam! Now we have a bunch of stone on top of everything else. Keep in mind though, that this also works for your character. If you knock down a tree and then run in front of it too quickly, it will fall and injure you. Once you've gathered up the necessary items, very easily place them down, they snap together. Then you can start putting up some decorative items and whatever else you would need. I would suggest, however, getting yourself a bed ASAP, as every action you do in the game does make you a bit tired. After you've completed construction on your home, you're asked to patch up the individual that's fallen on the ground here. It seems kind of odd to build a home before rescuing an injured individual, but sure, why not? In order to help the injured individual, we will have to enter the long house right near our own home and kind of loot around for a bit. You find plenty of money, the bandage, and even some candlesticks and other items like that that you can use to sell at the trader once it becomes available. It is now time to heal the wounded. Bam. Not looking so good, dear buddy. Oh no! There is a dodge that you can use to get away from the zombies. Now, some of them are pretty slow, others are a little bit faster. They do have a longer reach than you expect, so be very careful. But the first zombie that we meet isn't going to be too terribly difficult to take out. 3 swings will easily put the creature on the ground. There is a dodge roll that you can use. However, the dodge roll cannot be used while you're in the swing animation, which I hope they fix. Animation canceling would help the combat for the game go a lot further. Bam! The next mechanic of the game we're introduced to is building our world. So as you can see, we just have this small little island to work with. However, pressing C will show you a number of tiles that you can place. Right now, we only have access to a plains tile, which can be placed next to other plains tiles. Bam! And there she be. With the plains tiles, you mostly get a peaceful area. There's berries and trees. Some of the plains tiles will have beehives, but it's ultimately a resource gathering area. As you perform actions, you'll see this tile bar fill up, and we can get ourselves even more of these plains tiles if we would like. After having yourself a bit of a snack, you come back to a letter from Joanne, who says they're leaving the area. The base is now ours, and the entire tile is vacant. And with the homes being vacant, we can tear them down to make room for our own constructions. Before we extend the size of our base, however, it's probably a good idea that we make this cartographer table, as it will let us research new tiles. As you can see, we have a new tile here that is locked, but we can easily unlock that with some stone. And now we have a partial forest tile. Going into our tile menu, as you can see, the plains portion of the forest tile can only be placed up against other plains. You will not be able to rotate it, so that way a forest connects to a plains. So let's go ahead and extend our world, shall we? Bam. We've now learned another new tile. This one is completely forested. So taking a look at it here, you can see this section has changed colors a bit, and we'll be able to add even further larger forests later on, which will allow us to start hunting things like deer and even getting a lot more resources. As you can see, the plains and your starting base is a little bit barren. Before it hits nighttime, you're going to want to have a campfire out, as the zombies will be coming. You can, however, enter your home, build yourself a bed, and rest through the night. Next, we can go ahead and add our forest, which unlocks even more tiles. Once you've made it to the forested region, be very careful because there are zombies around. You can adjust your view by swinging the map around, giving us a little easier look at the zombies. Also in the forest are small animals that we can hunt once we have access to a bow. There's plenty of mushrooms laying around, trees to search, and one of the big ones is the beehives. Now, in order to progress, we're going to need 3 honeycomb. You can take these down a number of ways. You can walk up and smack the tree, which will get you stung. You can knock another tree into that tree and just knock that down, or we can shoot it. For the time being, however, as I don't have a gun, we're going to see if we can't just do it this way. I missed. So, we're gonna do it this way. The bees will sting you, but they don't really hurt all that much. And the next time you sleep, your health bar will go straight back up. Our primary quest has us looking for survivors, so we'll go ahead and toss that one down. Bam! Now that we've built our survival camp, let's go over here and give them a chat. After talking with the survivors, they tell you that they've lost some of their provisions. So we're going to go track these down for them. We also have the opportunity to trade for supplies. They've got things like scrap and tonics, and even a short bow, which, yes please. Be sure to also take the opportunity to loot the crates, as you'll find some pretty interesting items that you can then sell back to the NPCs and get yourself maybe something nice. I went ahead and bought myself a bow, and it looks like arrows don't actually cost anything. I'm wondering if this is a bug. Either way, we have plenty of ammunition. Let's try the bow out on some zombies, shall we? Rabbit got in the way. Ow! Let's not do that, buddy. Fantastic. After collecting your beehives, you're able to upgrade your workbench. Your workbench does give you a number of perks that apply to your character as well. You can make your shelter stronger, increasing your overall HP. You can sharpen your weapons, increasing your melee damage. Or you can make your beds softer, which increases your sanity. In order to increase our shelter, we have to now build more items, extend the size of our base. Everything that we do in here next to our workbench will fill this bar up. And then we can choose more perks. In order to find the lost provisions, we're going to need to place down a plains tile. The cart seems to be surrounded by some not-so-friendlies. Let's go ahead and deal with those real quickly, shall we? After returning the supplies, you'll find yourself at the end of the prologue. I really enjoyed this one. Not a bad job at all. It's much more chill than some of the other survival games that I'm used to playing, and that is not a negative. So ultimately, what did I think of the game? Well, I had a great time. It's not a typical survival game that I go for, but this one was just so super chill and a lot of fun to learn. I'm actually looking forward to getting back in and giving it a try once it gets a little bit further in development. Now, pros and cons wise, I don't have too many cons, to be honest. Thoroughly enjoyed the game. Like I said, I don't usually play this type of survival game, but that said, the one frustrating thing was the animation lock. Getting stuck in that long-winded animation and not being able to move, dodge, or anything like that was a little bit rough. I would like to see that change. Animation canceling would go a long way to improve my enjoyment of the game at the very least. Other people may not have as big of an issue with it, but as that is my only real gripe of the game, yeah, I would definitely give this one a strong thumbs up. Go check it out as soon as possible over on Steam, because the dev is doing a great job. I'm looking forward to seeing the updates and the full release of the game. But with all of that out the way, thank you so much for stopping out. It is that time. Before you go, get down in the description and get you in on some giveaways. Check out the other media links, likes, follows, all that fun stuff. And then, take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. Stay healthy out there. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.